next thing we're going to talk about is going to be a review of the Legacy of the Valiant set that just came out. Legacy of the Valiant, in my opinion, was a step up for the Zexal boosters. I think that Shadow Specters and Judgment of the Light, they were, to me, they were kind of small sets. Yeah, they had some good staple cards in there that are good in this format, but to me, Legacy of the Valiant really stepped it up. It's a very large set, just like Primal Origins is going to be that's coming out. It has a lot of, just like Primal Origins, it brought some previous decks that were all but dead and kind of gave them support. For example, the big one that they focused on with this was Gravekeepers. I think Gravekeepers got a lot of support with all the Gravekeeper monsters they got, and then that ridiculous trap card, Imperial Tomb of Necro Valley, is just absolutely broken in my opinion. So what do you think about Gravekeepers in their future?
I think Gravekeeper is a good deck, especially after the support came out for them in Legacy of the Valiant. But they're still not doing as well as I think some people expected them to do after the support came out, and I don't know if they ever will.
I agree. I mean, the deck is definitely not a budget deck. I mean, the cards are definitely expensive. I think that, again, it goes back to the nostalgia. The Gravekeepers are kind of an old deck. But I mean, it locks down so many decks with Necro Valley being on the field and not being able to use your graveyard, which most decks do right now in the meta. But not only did they have Gravekeepers and ridiculous cards to help them, some of the new effect monsters that came out were just really helped speed up the deck. It gave it some extra power that it really, really needed. But they introduced Sylvans. Sylvans, I've always liked plant monsters. I had an Eteria build, but Sylvans I was really excited about. Plus with the new wording and the vocabulary in Yu-Gi-Oh! For excavating, I think that's really exciting. It kind of brings on a new spin to Yu-Gi-Oh! Being able to really have more deck control instead of maybe the decks having right now like graveyard control, field control. It really gives you deck control, in my opinion. After that, another card that came out that is probably one of the more broken cards is Downer Magician. Downer Magician, I think, is one of the best rank 4s to come out in a long time. How do you feel about it?
I wouldn't necessarily call it broken, but I think it's probably one of the most useful cards that came out in Legacy of the Valiant because it's so easy to summon in almost any deck. It's just pretty much like a mini Gaia Thunder Charger, which is a card that a lot of people gave attention to for a while now. And now we have Downer Magician that can be a big beater and it's really easy to summon.
And Inflict Piercing, with Ghost Tricks, hopping around here, going in defense mode, and some other decks, focusing on defense position, plus anti-meta is a lot of defense. Just to be able to inflict piercing kind of puts a kink in their plans to, really, step you up. But yeah, I think Downer Magician was huge for that. Dustin's got White Dustin with this set, which I know you're impartial to.
Yeah, Dustin's couldn't really do anything there for a while. There's a couple OTK decks, but now that they have the normal monster White Dustin, they can summon that to their side of the field and actually go into some extra deck cards with that, like maybe go into a Slacker Magician and then summon Downer Magician on top of that.
Ugh, nasty. And also you have, of course, you have Rainbow Kuribo, which was a pretty exciting card. I can't stand Kuribos, they are the devil. But this one was actually really good. It kind of has a double effect. I think it's, I don't know how much play it'll see, but it's definitely worth taking a second look at, I think.
Definitely got a little bit of money to it there. I didn't expect that card to be that pricey as it was.
I didn't either. I expected it to be around like a $5 card, and it came out being like, I think, about 20.
Yeah, it was like 20.
So I was surprised with that. Other cards that came out, of course, you have Silent Honor Arc. What a ridiculous card. In my opinion, the best card in the series. Just to be able to steal a special summon monster that your opponent, worked so hard to bring out, or didn't work so hard to bring out, but that they rely on, to me, is broken.
I completely agree with you because I think this card is the most useful card in the set and also one of the most useful rank 4s that have come out in a long time because it's so easy to summon, and then with the way duels are played now, people just special summon like crazy, so it's so easy to get his effect off, and it's really useful.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think Silent Honor Arc is definitely good, and even the CXE's version of him is not bad too. I mean, him by himself is just, you can literally put him in any deck that uses any kind of level 4s. If you use more than 3 or 4 level 4s, you can literally put him in there, and he'll work with any deck to give you that support that you need. Other cards that came out in there, the other big one, and has so much hype right now, is Exotition Knight. So this card, I think, is one of the most overrated cards in the set. Do you agree?
I kind of would agree. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad card,
No,
because it's not.
Good.
It's definitely a really good card, but I think people are giving it a little bit too much credit than it deserves, because, like I said, I think Silent Honor Arc was a better card. That it should have been the most expensive in the set.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that with that card, I think it's, which we'll discuss in another video about pricing, but I think it's one of the most overpriced cards out right now, and one of the most overpriced cards of all time. I think that, its effect is a very good effect, just to be able to blow up the field. It is, of course, very good. I mean, who doesn't like Black Rose Dragon, that in Exe's form? That's essentially what this is. But the only thing is, it has stipulations, it has drawbacks, and it's only 1900 attack, which, 1900 beater's not too bad, but I just think in this format, it's just so easy to get around.
I feel like you use his effect, you blow up the field, and then you can't do any damage, so what are you going to do? Probably end your turn, leaving not very much on the field to save you, and it's your opponent's turn, and it's not that hard to get him off the field.
No, it's definitely not. He just, so like I said, I think he's a good effect monster. He's the first Evil Swarm monster that has a light attribute, so you can really kind of work some things in with that. In my opinion, I think he's overrated. Definitely overrated. So overall, Legacy of the Valiant, big improvement and step up from Shadow Specters and Judgment of the Light. Which are the two previous sets, which weren't bad, but I just think that it was a big step up. It gave us a nice, big card list set for those, and for Primal Wardens coming out, which is the going away party for Zexal, and then after Zexal, we go into Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, and then we have Duelist Advent, which is the first booster set for that, which we'll talk about in another video. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the booster set with Legacy of the Valiant and Primal Origins. I think that I'm really excited about that as a player. Plus, they've got other new sets coming out with the 2014 Gold Series, which we'll talk about as well. But I'm really excited about it, and it just provided a lot of variety, in my opinion, to the game, which we desperately needed after the last format. And we'll kind of see what comes next after the next Forbidden Limited list. I think it was good. I think it was a success. So, like, subscribe, comment, add what you want. Let us know your feedback. This has been a presentation of Yu-Gi Noobs. I am Jinzo.
I am Follow the Jam.
And we'll see you next time on the next video. Peace out.